has had enough of men. She says she won't get burned again. She says that...
So guys, I know a lot of YouTube creators have done videos on this, and I'm not one to beat a dead horse, or in this case a cow. But fat, feline fancying freaks fighting for feminism? I gotta say something.
Femme-feral. Femme-feral is a queer femme fighting force. We want to destroy the Conservative government. We want to bring down the patriarchy. We want to take up space. We want to make lots of noise.
Well, if their plan is to take down the Conservative government and the patriarchy by making them vomit to death, they might be successful at it. As far as making noise, I'm sure they can do that. And if they want to take up space, well, they just have to keep shoving those crumpets in their mouths.
Lots of noise. We're really angry about the way that women and kind of femme-identifying people were being treated around things like Brexit and this Conservative government. And having nowhere to put that anger, we fight each other as a mode of resistance to try and channel our energies and our rage.
So, just looking at those pictures, this looks more like a softcore heavy petting club than a fight club. Oh, and that feminist logic, they're protesting Theresa May, who is a woman, who is one of the most powerful women in the world, but because she's against the EU and she's a conservative, she is bad. But the party that wants the EU, that wants to bring in actual rape cultures, who want to import people by the millions who are the patriarchy, who are the most oppressive people towards women on the face of the earth, well, those people are good. They're feminists. Yeah.
There's an element of unknown about tonight because we're doing it with a lot more people and a lot of people who haven't done it before, and you feel empowered by the numbers actually. Yeah, it feels like you could go out and smash some shit or something.
You know, I'm a fan of Peep Show, and I always thought Dobby was pretty hot, but she has really let herself go.
Or not moments, but a lifetime of that actually. I felt a lot of pent-up aggression. I hadn't really ever felt like I had a space to let that out anywhere, and that's one of the reasons why I started doing this, or actually just had an urge to fight. Had an urge to fight as a 29-year-old woman.
Alright, so let's go ahead and unpack some of that baggage right there, because what she just said is probably true for about 90% of these women. They're probably all pushing 30 or over 30 with no ambition and nothing going on in their lives, not married. I know some of them are gay, but probably all spoiled to their core as children, probably over-medicated too, indoctrinated by public schools and media to hate the very Western capitalist countries that are the most friendly to women's issues. And let's talk about that. If these ladies got what they want, if they got their socialist utopia, if they smashed the patriarchy, do you think they're going to go do anything? Does anybody see these women and say, hey, their ideology, that's the ticket. That's the way we want to take society. No, these people aren't capable of running their own lives. How are they going to run a civilization? And if they got their way tomorrow, their socialist utopia, they're not going to go work. Hell, they're going to sit around LARPing and playing heavy petting until the end of days. And that will be very quickly, because if they got their way, society would burn. The world would crumble probably within a week.
It's difficult to be sexy in specific spaces without being sexualized. So looking for a space where you can kind of own your sexiness, your sexuality in an aggressive, angry way, and also in a very glamorous way. We wanted a space where we could do that and be angry about the Tories.
Alright, so I'm starting to think that this is just a commercial against the Tories. You know, the left does stuff like this. They do these little projects, and they get some stuff on film, they get these ladies to meet a few times, and they get some good film footage, and then they put it online and say, hey, look what these fun, fascinating women are doing. But it's not natural, and it's never grassroots. It's always got a couple billionaire elites funding it. But, no women are going, hey, what are you doing this weekend, Jesse? Oh, Katie, I'm going to go to this club where I'm going to wrestle around with some ladies who stink and have bad hygiene. It just doesn't happen. And that's what this is. It's wrestling. That's what they call it here in the South. But anyway, and the other thing I don't get when the girl says that she's getting sexy for herself, and then they jump around like monkeys. You know, that's not sexy, first of all. But second of all, what does that mean? I always hear feminists say that they're going to get sexy and dress slutty for themselves. Nobody does that. I don't wear a banana hammock under my pants to feel sexy. That's just not a thing. People don't go get sexy for themselves. They're always getting sexy for somebody else. That's why it's called sexy, because it makes the opposite sex attracted to you.
Stories. I feel like a lot of patriarchal powers and systems right now are starting to become undone, and there are conversations happening about the position of women, and when I say women, that's trans.
All right, so I only put that clip in there so we could play Where's Waldo, and I think you guys saw it.
About the position of women, and when it's happening about the position of women, and when I...
Pussy hat in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see me?
Inclusive, that's all women, that they have been oppressed and are very oppressed. So I think it's important for women or non-binary people to be loud and to make noise, and this is a space where we are so loud.
Oh God, is it over? I can't look. Oh, thank God. All right, guys, so back in the 40s and 50s, feminism still might have been about equality for women, but by the time people like Gloria Steinem came on the scene in the 1960s and 70s, feminism had entered its second and third wave and taken an ugly turn towards cultural Marxism. Now, all Marxism is about destroying the middle class or the bourgeoisie and destroying, capitalist countries and Western civilization. But the cultural Marxism through feminism is about destroying the cultures that create the middle class, that create great societies, things like the traditional family and traditional roles for women. And every study shows us that as cultures become more feminized, they enter more of a decline. There's been many studies about the Roman Empire, about the Greeks, that showed that the sexualization and feminization of those cultures is what led to their demise. And it's the proof's in the pudding right here. Feminism is in its fourth wave, and this is what we're left with. Fat blobs rolling around on the floor, jumping around like monkeys, and screaming aimlessly into the sky.
Before the fight, I always think about how angry I am. I often think about things like Theresa May closing women's refuges. Or I think about the man that catcalled me on the street. Or I think about that time someone touched me without my consent.
Bullshit!
And together we share some of those grievances and kind of build up a collective rage to throw at each other.
The fighting feels like a very natural thing to do. There's something very freeing about it.
There's an intimacy, so it's also about kind of being together, sharing our bodies, being open and free with our bodies, celebrating them in their messy totality. So not worrying about really what we look like, but concentrating on how it feels.
Well, that's good, because you look horrible. And here's the thing that nobody talked about when they looked at this video and reviewed it on YouTube. Look at the outfits they're wearing. Look at the venue they're in. Look at these women. We're halfway through the thing, and we haven't seen anybody fight. We've only seen a few people play grab ass. Guys, women who are working probably 10 hours a week as a barista, they're not going to fork out money for makeup and an outfit and costumes and a venue so they could go play grab ass. That doesn't happen. It's unnatural. What does happen is that leftist rags like Vox, like Vice, like Broadly, like Mike, they pay for these little events like this to take place so they could go out and film it and try to market it as something trendy to get a bunch of naive, dumb little children, man children, because they're not little, they're, by any means, to jump on board with their stupid ideology. It's just marketing for crap feminism. And it backfires. It's a failure.
You stop feeling angry. It feels actually really loving and caring and really exhilarating. Yeah, you feel really, really close to all the people that you're fighting with.
We're not fighting against each other, we're fighting against something else. We're fighting against the Tories, or we're fighting against not being heard. And I think that's the biggest thing about it for us. It's about the opportunity to be heard.
this is a space where we can recognise that we're angry and together, so you don't feel alone, you don't feel like you're just crying, staring at the internet, locked in your room alone. This is a shared feeling, and there's a kind of empowerment in that, because together, if we kind of express this, then it feels like there's a possibility.
So when I hear this woman talk about sitting in her room alone crying, I almost feel bad. These women have been sold a false bill of goods. They are told that capitalism and the patriarchy are somehow bringing them down. The only thing bringing these women down, well, besides gravity, is themselves. This false ideology they've bought into. You know, women in their 30s, if they want to find meaning in life, they should be out having kids, you know, finding a career. That's where you find meaning. Believe me, I was lost myself until I, met my wife and had my daughters. And now my life is the best it's ever been, because it's why we're here, to recreate, to live in family groups. It's the natural order. And they're trying to defy nature. And that's what communism is. That's what cultural Marxism is. It's the defiance of the natural order. And it's chaos.
Fuck you, Theresa May! Fuck you, Theresa May! Fuck you, Theresa May!
Well, it looks like my hypothesis was correct. This appears to be nothing more than a paid advertisement against Theresa May and the Tories, promoting feminism. It's just political theater to market degeneracy to idiot millennials. And here's the thing, guys. They do this to keep these people growth retarded. Because leftists know that once these people go out and have kids, once they get married, their interests are going to change. They're not going to be so entitled. They're going to want to save more of their paychecks. They're going to want to protect their kids from foreign invaders who bring rape and terrorism. And so, yeah, they want to keep them growth retarded. They want to keep these people juvenile as long as possible. And it's really disastrous for our countries and for the world as a whole, just for society as a whole. It's horrible. It's cringy. So, ugh. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel and share the video if you can. And instead of donating to YouTubers, go throw a bunch of "It's Okay to Be White" flyers around your campus, because fighting communism is all that matters. Thanks. Bye.